Hi friends, let's talk about the books that I want to read in November. It looks very intimidating when I put it in a stack like this, but let's get started. Hey book besties, welcome back or welcome if you're new here. My name is Ashley, I go by Little Cozy Reader, and I am so glad you're here. In today's video, we are going to be going over the 22 books that I have on my November TBR. Yeah, you heard that right. 22. Is there something wrong with me? Yes. Is this doable? No, not really. Is this the goal that I set for myself anyways, that is completely unattainable? Yeah, I did that. So anyways, this month's TBR video went a little different for me. Normally I would do something like a TBR jar or play my Bookopoly game that I have, but I have a ton of Storygraph challenges that I joined throughout the course of the year that are coming to a close in December. And so I want to get as many of those challenges out of the way as I can. So what I did, and of course I do not have footage for this because I suck, is I went through with a random number generator and generated prompts that I got for some of those challenges to try and finish off some of those challenges, and then used those prompts, also primarily focusing on the rest of my fall TBR that I had not read through September and October, and chose books, and then some of them are just other books that are on my fall TBR or my 10 before the end, or just books that I really want to get to. But we're going to start with the ones that are focused on prompts, because those are what I would consider to be my highest priority. So the first prompt that I drew was a book with a service dog in it. Sorry, this is my list. And I actually did not have any physical books that have a service dog in them that I had not already read. And so for this one, I'm actually going to be reading The Match by Sarah Adams, which I'm very excited about. I love a Sarah Adams book, so I'm excited to read that one, but that is what I chose for the prompt of service dog. Next up, I have a prompt that is a book from 2002, and this was shocking to me, to be honest, because I didn't realize how old this book was, because they just got new covers recently. But for this one, I'm going to be reading Tithe by Holly Black. Again, I did not realize the series was that old, but I'm excited for it. Yep, they were reprinted in 2019 with these new covers, which is what I have. So I'm going to be reading Tithe by Holly Black. Next up, I have a literary fiction by a BIPOC author, and for that one, I am going to be reading, I'm actually in the middle of it as we speak, Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is Elizabeth Acevedo's adult debut. This is literary fiction with a touch of magical realism, and it is a family drama. This is not written in verse like Elizabeth Acevedo's other novels. However, it is still written very prose heavy, kind of got that like artistic style to it still. So that is what I chose for a literary fiction by a BIPOC author. She's one of my favorites, and I'm liking it a lot so far. Next up, ironically enough, I have a book with magical realism written by a BIPOC author, and what I decided to do for that one was the next book in the Mead Mishap series, which is That Time I Got Drunk and Yeeted a Love Potion at a Werewolf. These are probably a little bit more on the fantasy side just because obviously it has a werewolf in it, but these are like really, really close to human realm, so I'm counting it as magical realism, so don't come at me for that one. It was listed on the prompts from other people who put this for their choice, so I'm sticking with it, and I'm excited to read the next book in the series because the first one was really fun. Next up, I have a graphic novel written by a BIPOC author. This one, I'm so excited to continue the Tea Dragon Society trilogy. So the next one in the series is the Tea Dragon Festival. I'll be reading that on my Kindle. Those books are freaking adorable if you have not read them. They are so fast and cute and cozy, and I love them. Next up, we have a book with snow or ice on the cover, and so I'm going to go with Unsteady by Peyton Corinne. This is a hockey romance, so of course we've got our ice and cold there, and I've had this on my TBR a few times, haven't gotten around to it yet, so I'm very excited to get to it for the month of November. Next up, I have a book that features a death. This one had a lot of options, but I have decided to try and dive into A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. I had actually started this series, gosh, probably like 2-3 years ago at this point. And I got distracted and put it down, so we're going to start over. I'm excited. I love a good YA mystery, and I've heard really, really good things about this series. Obviously, the whole point is that she is solving a cold case, therefore featuring a death, so that's what I chose for this prompt. Next up, I had to choose a book by an author whose initials I share, and so for this one, obviously, I did not do like both initials. I don't know any authors with the initials AG, but I do know an author with the initials AH, so I went with an Allie Hazelwood book. Oh no, and I'm trying to peel the sticker off and it's not going well. Hold on. I'll get the sticker off eventually, but I have Bride by Allie Hazelwood. This is on my fall TBR, and I have been dying to get to this, so I'm very excited. Next up, I have a multicolored cover, and for this one, I am probably terrified, unreasonably terrified, to put Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin on my TBR. A colorful cover, can't deny that, but this is a book that I have put off and put off and put off and put off and put off to the point where now I'm terrified of it, so I just need to get it read. It's on my 10 before the end. I'm sure I'm gonna like it. I'm just so intimidated by this book. So if you have any thoughts or advice or good vibes with this book to reduce my intimidation, please feel free to drop it in the comments and let me know, because I don't know why, I'm just afraid to read this book. Next up, I got a prompt for a book that has a review on the cover, and for this one, I'm actually going to read This Is How You Lose the Time War. I have this on audiobook from Libby, and I'm really excited about this book. I've heard that it is very thought-provoking, and it's kind of academic-y in a sense that you like really have to think about it while you're reading it, so I'm hoping that on audio it'll work really well, like if I'm in the car and stuff like that. Probably not while I'm multitasking, but while I'm driving, I think it'll be a really nice read. And it's a really short book, so I'm hoping that that will be a good one for that. But it does have a review on the cover, so I figured that that was what I would choose. Next up, I have a book with a first-person point of view, and for that one, I have chosen the long-awaited The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. Esty Taylor, if you're watching this, I swear I'm going to read this book this month. I swear we're going to be able to talk about it soon. She has been on my case to read this book. This will be my first Frida McFadden book. She's read quite a few and loves them, so I'm very, very excited to give this a go, and of course, a good thriller is always in first person. Next up, I have a prompt to read a prequel, and this is also terrifying to me, but I figured what a better time than now to go ahead and throw The Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas on my TBR, guys. I am going to officially start my Throne of Glass read. I am so scared, but so excited to get into Throne of Glass. And I have always wanted to start with Assassin's Blade. I didn't want to read it third or fourth or whatever that other reading order option is. So I knew I wanted to start with Assassin's Blade. So I thought this was a perfect prompt, perfect time to begin my Throne of Glass journey. Next, I had a prompt of a book that is over 500 pages. And in the same vein of reading Throne of Glass, I am also going to be finishing my ACOTAR journey. So for over 500 pages, of course, I have A Court of Silver Flames. However, I also need to read A Court of Frost and Starlight because this did not get read in the month of October. So both of these are going on the TBR for November. A Court of Frost and Starlight and A Court of Silver Flames that will round out my ACOTAR journey and get me right into Throne of Glass. Next up, I had a prompt for a character with mutism. And for that one, I am going to go with Gallant by V.E. Schwab. This is on my fall TBR, and it is giving very gothic, atmospheric, haunted house vibes, and I'm very excited about it. I actually have it on audiobook to listen to from Libby, and so I'm super duper pumped about it, honestly. This book also has really beautiful artwork in it, and like, I don't know, stuff like that on the inside. It's like really cool to me that it has that. And then, yeah, like artwork and stuff. So very cool book. This will be my first V.E. Schwab. I have a couple more of their books. Very excited at the prospect of becoming a V.E. Schwab girly. But yeah, mutism. I thought that was an interesting prompt, and I'm excited to read a book with that. And the last prompt that I have is a book with a character with aphasia, which is face blindness. And for that one, I already have it on my Kindle. I figured it was time to read Hello Stranger by Catherine Center. I have read The Bodyguard and The Rom-Commers by Catherine Center. The Bodyguard was an instant 5-star for me. I love that book. The Rom-Commers was okay. I think I gave it like 3.5 stars, but I have heard a lot of people say that Hello Stranger is one of their favorites by Catherine Center, so I am very excited to give that a shot and see how I like it. So now we are on to other books that are priority reads for me for the month of November that are not on prompt related things. I can probably find prompts to go with them, but when I was like auto-generating prompts with the random number generator thingy, they were not prompts that I pulled, so I will be checking to see if they apply to any of the open prompts that I still have. But these are either books that are on my 10 before the end, they were on my fall TBR that I didn't get to and I really want to get to them, or one of them is a new book that I just got, but I also just got the audio book that came through from Libby, so I know I'm going to be reading it because it's on my audiobook shelf and I go through those really, really quickly. So this is the rest of the TBR that I am prioritizing for the month of November. And first up, we have The Dead Romantics by Ashley Poston. I am very excited to finally read an Ashley Poston book. I have not read one yet, so this will be my first if I get to it. It's a nice little fall vibe, magical realism at its finest, so I'm hoping that I can get to this in the month of November. Next, I have the last two books in the Natural series by Jennifer Lynn Barnes, All In and Bad Blood. These, I just really want to continue with this series. I'm loving it. I love these characters. I love how fast these books are and how easy to read they are. So I'm hoping that if I get to a point in the month where I need like a palate cleanser or just like something to chill for a little bit, that I can pick one of these up and keep moving with this series because absolutely loving it. Next up is the book that I just purchased, and my audiobook request from Libby just came through, and that is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. This is book 3 in the Graves Glen series. I just read The Ex-Hex and The Kiss Curse last month. My thoughts on those books are in my wrap-up video, but this is book 3. It's a cutie little tiny book, so I'm liking that. This is the last Penhallow brother in Tasman. I don't know if I remember her from the other books. I don't know if we've met her before or not, but again, I have this on Libby, so I know it will get read this month because I'm like always fly through my audiobooks, and I like that I get to read a book that I just picked up because that doesn't happen very often. They normally sit for a while. Next up, a book that I'm hoping that I'm going to do a buddy read with Taylor for, and that is Haunting Adeline. I also might be buddy reading this with my mom if Taylor doesn't want to buddy read it with me, because I know my mom was looking at reading this too. So this is the Cat and Mouse Duet book 1. I am honestly so excited. I am so excited. Like, I literally know I'm going to eat this up. I know it's dark. I know that it is going to make me question my morals, but I also know that I'm going to love it. I know I'm going to love it. So very, 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 very excited to get to the Cat and Mouse Duet. I only have book 1 on my TBR though. I'm not making any promises I know I can't keep. And I think this is my last book, and that is Heartless Hunter, also known as The Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli. I am experiencing FOMO on this book. I feel like everybody read it, the moment has passed, and I missed it, which I normally do, but I like want to not miss it by as much as I normally do. So I really, really, really want to get to this. This was on my fall TBR, and I didn't pick it for any of my other TBRs throughout fall, so I knew I needed to put it on November because I want to read it. So those are all of the books that are on my TBR for November. Keeping in mind, I am absolutely a mood reader, and B, I am a sucker for any book that will come through on Libby in a skip the line loan or something that looks really interesting that I can get my hands on really quickly, or holds that I forgot that I put in months ago. So will these be the books that I read? Oh, I don't know. We're about to find out at the end of the month. So I'm just really, really trying to focus on the ones that answer my prompts, my 10 before the end, and knocking out as much of my fall TBR as I can. I'm going to be creating my winter TBR. So I consider winter like December, January, February kind of times. And we'll be talking about the books that I want to read going into the new year and all of that fun stuff, like picking a 25 books for 2025 situation. So there's lots of cool stuff coming on the channel, but that's everything for now. And I will see you in the next one, friends. If you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button so that I can catch you next time. Bye.